Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name is John and today I am giving you a little yap session. If you don't know who I am the producer of Dark Design Dramas. I've uploaded a couple of videos over the last few months and I thought I would come back and give you a nice little vlog update, and I think I might do this more often. Like once a month I will sort of just tell the internet how I'm doing and just do little updates like I used to. But what I mean by used to, I mean more like the videos that I did when I was quite young. This is also going up on my TikTok, which is why it's on 16:9. If you don't like this aesthetic, don't watch it. So I thought I'd come here to tell you all that episode 8 of Reign of the Golden Age is coming out on Wednesday. And then on Saturday there is a trailer for something. The trailer for Limbo Volume 3 is coming out on Saturday, and then the following week on Saturday you will get episode 1 of Limbo. And then once we've done Limbo, there will be a Reign of the Golden Age special, and then I'm leaving Reign of the Golden Age to kind of simmer in the background for a little bit because it's just been a bit much for me, and I do like Doctor Who, and I want to carry on making Doctor Who fan content, but I think prioritising the remake of Dark Legends is just what I really want to do, and I sort of promised myself that I'm only going to do things if I really want to do them. So, if I really want to do Reign of the Golden Age, Limbo, all these things, I'm going to prioritise the things I want to do. I know I've said, Storage the Condemned. I do want to get that done, the remake of that, or the remaster / whatever. I will do that, but I'm probably going to re-edit the whole thing in certain aspects and give a new aesthetic and just clean up the audio, because I'm really proud of the script for that series, but it's just the sound design isn't up to par, so I want to fix that. So doing a new edit of that, and I think what I might do is combine all 3 episodes, or maybe do 2 episodes for the remake, because episodes 1 and 2 I feel can be one part, and then the second part can be episode 3. So combining episodes 1 and 2 and then releasing episode 3 as it is, or maybe extending each episode. It really depends. I went in and I wrote about 5 to 10 pages of extra stuff for episodes 1 and 2, and something just didn't seem right. It's not even a perfectionist thing, it's just a do I really want to do this right now kind of thing, because it is quite a dark series and I've written quite a lot of dark material. I mean, I literally run a channel called Dark Design Dramas, but it's just that kind of thing where I think I need to start writing more lighter content to make myself feel better, because it can affect you psychologically if you're constantly making dark narratives over and over again. It can get quite much. So I thought I'd talk about things personally. Over the last year or so, I found myself quite kind of in my own little space. I spent about 9 months where I didn't really leave the house, if I'm honest with you. It's that kind of thing where I spent the last month or so, I spent about a 3-week period going out quite a lot and trying to hang out with people. And all of my greatest worst fears of like how the world is going kind of got proved right, if you know what I mean. Like, I spent a good amount of time hanging out with different people, and I don't know what's happening, but I will just say it. Anti-Semitic ideology is on the rise. Homophobia, transphobia, racism in general is on the rise. And just the kind of atmosphere that's going on, at least in my hometown. I live in a seaside town in Kent. I don't know what's going on, but it genuinely feels like I spent so much time kind of like alone in my piece, and I went back into it and I was like, whoa, I live in Berlin 1936. And I'm quite shocked at just the way people are right now. But I'd also come to admit something from a video that I made in TikTok a little while ago. It was a video about the Doctor Who fandom as a land of pride and apathy. A lot of that is technically a projection, because the way that I perceive the dark parts of the Doctor Who fandom is mostly how I perceive most of the world that I'm living in right now. It's not just the Doctor Who world, which has turned a bit darker, it's a lot of other places, and I guess I've been struggling a lot to kind of accept it, because it's very difficult to make friends when all your options are people who are incredibly racist or just haven't done the work on themselves in any capacity. I've bumped into a lot of pathological liars and people that, let's say, would have very unsavoury opinions. That's all I can say. And it's not necessarily a thing where you can't talk to people with alternative views. It's a thing where their views are so strong and so sickening that it makes you go, oh my god, what is wrong with the world? If someone you're sat with, you're just having a normal conversation with them, and they turn around and they say black people are dirty, or they say that, fuck the Jews, I'm gonna sit there and be like, what is wrong with you? And those are the kinds of things I'm hearing, those are the kinds of things that's going on. If anyone's watching this video and wants to take those influences and put it into something, then go ahead, because I don't think I can touch it right now. Because that's why I started writing Everything is Fine. And I remember talking to my therapist about it, so showing it to him, and then it just came across as quite a angry thing. And the thing is that to fight fire with fire was just not something I wanted to do. And don't get me wrong, I watched Tiptoe recently, which is ironically quite thematically similar. It is a warning in that capacity, and that's kind of what I wanted to aim for with Everything's Fine. But I'm actually writing something. Well, I want to write something different called Everything is Lost rather than Everything's Fine, because it's taking the anger out of it, looking at it kind of objectively and going, why are people being like this? And why are there just certain places, depending on where you go? Like, don't get me wrong, I know that this is a seaside town. People are going to have backwards opinions anyway. I've always dealt with people having backwards opinions. When I was a teenager during COVID, I remember people like would cross over the street when me, my mum, and my sister was walking down, because obviously, you know, we are from, well, I'm Asian, like, I'm half Thai, and it's like, oh, COVID, you know, they're going to bring the virus. But obviously, like, I'm Thai, I'm not Chinese, and also, even if I was Chinese, I don't think that would matter. Also, I thought I'd preface that this isn't meant to be all doom and gloom. I know every single time I upload a video, it sounds so like awkward or weird. I mean, it's mostly because it's long form. I know I'm going to be sat here for a while because I'm very excitable usually on TikTok, and you, like, you know, you'll see me being a bit weird or something like that. But this is the real me. I'm quite sad. But no, like, I mean, when it comes to, you know, Doctor Who, making things, all these things, I still want to do it. I know I've talked about some quite heavy things, and I've said some things that are like, whoa. But it's just that kind of thing where that's been my experience for the last few months. If anyone relates, please do come along and talk to me about it, because everything's just feels a little bit messed up, and everything's like based on pride and ego, and everyone's like so up themselves, or like, you know, like you'll just be trying to exist, and some be like, you haven't done this yet, and I'm like, no, I can't find a fucking job, let alone that. You know, it's just that kind of thing. Like, literally a few months ago, I uploaded a video saying I will do it, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to be employed this year. I think I'll be on the dole for the rest of the year. I don't see myself getting a job. I'm doing free work experience for B&M, and I'm very vocal about the fact I don't like it, because if I was being paid, I would shut my mouth. But, you know, I want a job. I don't want to be stuck on the job centre. You know, I don't want to be doing any of that. And every single place I apply to is just like, we're sorry, we can't accept your application at this time. And it's just that kind of thing where I'm like, okay, right. I literally have like so many, like, I've got so much work experience. It's not like I'm unexperienced. I've done so much stuff, and it's just not enough. They don't pick me. And I've reworded my CV so many times. I've done it over and over again. No one will give me a job. But then again, given the world that I've just stepped out into, maybe that maybe it's good that I haven't gotten a job, because the world at large at the moment is making me want to isolate myself once again. I'll be honest. It didn't seem very fun to go out, and I spent the last 3 weeks trying my best, and then I'm just like, I can't take this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm done. Like, human beings are grim. Like, I am actually sickened by the humanity. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a religious man, but if God was looking at this world, he does not approve, or Satan for that matter. Even Satan's looking at this like, guys, what are you doing? What is going on? You know, like, I'm not gonna lie. I think both of them are just going like, what the fuck? What? You know, like, I feel like that. Like, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not religious at all. I'm not religious in the slightest. But I feel like if I met God right now, he'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think you're doomed. It's like, really? It's like, yeah. I'm sorry. It's over, guys. It's over. Again, it's not super duper dark. It's okay. We're vibing. We're trying. And, you know, maybe there is hope at the end of the tunnel. Maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe I should just become more daring. Recently, I've been thinking, you know what? Fuck it. I might hit the gym. I might, like, just approach a random production company and say, hey, I've got an idea. Here's a film or a TV show. Like, I don't care anymore. I don't want to have to, like, you know, go through like 3 years of drama school or film school just to show you that I've done X, Y, Z. I want to turn up with a good idea, a clear mind of how to do it, and just be like, right, can you help me make this? And if they're like, no, move on to the next person. If they're like, yeah, can you prove it? Yeah. Give me £5,000, a pack of Strepsils, and a string. I will do it. You know? That's how I am at the moment. But from all the people that I know who are in industry or have done things in the industry, like, you know, like in terms of the media world, film, TV, audio, have said that basically you actors especially have to make their own work. You no longer, we're kind of past the time where you can get an agent right out of university or anything like that. We're past the time where, you know, even thinking about agencies is a good idea nowadays, because all the agencies are kind of just going boom, 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 boom. They're falling like one after another. And so it's very much like, the people who do get agented tend to need a good big social media following, and I don't really have that. And I know some ideas of how I could do that, but then you'll lose me for like 2 years working on social media posts and trying to constantly remain relevant. And you never know. I mean, I might do that if I'm really desperate. I might do that, but it's just that kind of thing where I'm like, do I really want to waste 2 years of my life just like focusing on social media and constantly posting? Because don't get me wrong, sure, I could probably build a good following if with 2 years of consistent uploads of random stuff, yada yada yada, and then use that to help me kind of push, an acting career or sound design or film or TV or whatever it is, whatever I want to do, that will, pay, is up for grabs. But I think I don't know. I'm at my wit's end with a lot of things, but I'm still making my projects. I'm still going to do these things because I don't really have anything else to do. I go and do this like work experience. I come home and it's either make my projects or watch TV. Because I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to talk to people. Well, I do. I ring people up, but all the cool people I know don't live here. Everyone who's cool and vibey and does cool things and actually, wants to progress in a creative way, not just like for career, but in general. I don't live in this town. I literally am like the only person here who I think actively is putting in steps to do it. Well, I say that there are going to be plenty of people, maybe 5 years younger than me, who'll probably get further than I ever will. But it's just that kind of thing where I haven't met many creatives who are, let's say, who commit, if you know what I mean. I did a job interview a few months ago. I didn't get the job, but I remember talking to this woman, and don't get me wrong, I think she was just prejudiced against creative people, but she turned to me saying, yeah, there are so many people who, do creative work, and, they only do it because they think it's easy, but it's not easy. And she said it directly after I said I wanted to get into the creative spaces and do those things like film and like, being a runner or a marshal or all those things. Those simple things, those entry-level jobs that are really, really good and very important. They're very important. You should never abuse your crew, or disregard them or make them feel like they're lesser simply because they're doing something that an A-list actor wouldn't. But it's just that kind of thing where, like, I know she was probably saying it out of a prejudice against creative people because she's probably met loads of people who've come in and said, yeah, I want to be an actor. Yeah, I want to do this. Yeah, I want to do that. And they're full of this, and it's just that kind of thing where I do get it. But I do wish the world would stop being so prejudiced against the creative world. The 9 to 5 people, the people who are happy just working in a shop, which is fair, it's admirable. I do that. I want to do that, technically. I need money in order to do this. So, yeah. But it's just that kind of thing where I wish there was less judgment for creative individuals in the everyday world. Because I think a lot of people also forget, like, if you're going to say, yeah, well, you can do this job because it's a job, Well, yeah, well, this is a job and this is what I want to do. I watched a video recently of how an A-list actor was earning 35 euros an hour doing a job from his father's business, and then went to doing 15 when he was acting. But he preferred the acting, and he could still make a living. Obviously, I don't know if those days would ever be able to approach me. I'd be quite happy earning £15 an hour or $15 an hour if I was doing acting. It's more than the minimum wage at the moment. I know the frustrations from people who have worked hard and see people trying to get into creative worlds. I know that there is going to be an element of jealousy, or envy in general. I know there's going to be a lot of projections there, and you're also going to be surrounded by a lot of people who are just going to subconsciously, if not consciously, dislike creative people based on the fact that there are some people who are all talk. Like, I went to college, I went to uni, there are some real, like, I'm better than everyone kind of people, and those are the people that make it worse for everyone else, I think. If you've got a level head and you just want to work and also do things that you love, then you kind of get overshadowed by the people who walk into a room thinking, I am God's gift to acting, And so I do get it. I do understand, Like, I'm from a very working class background, if you want to call it. I don't see class in that way. Maybe some people do, but I don't. I think you either work or you don't, and if you don't, good luck. And when I say good luck, I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean genuinely good luck. I said it in a bit of a blasé way, but it's just that kind of thing, It's like you work, if you don't, you don't, and not everyone can work at a pace that someone else is working at. Like, I know that me doing a 9 to 5 makes me want to physically die, but I will do it anyway because it will allow me to do my creative stuff. But the thing is that when it comes to, you know, the creative world, if I get there and I find something that I don't really want to see, then maybe it isn't for me. It is all work at the end of the day, you know. This is like, you know, I am quite serious about the fact that I do just want a fucking job, you know. Maybe a video like this won't help, but you know, it's just that kind of thing. Ooh, but no, like on a lighter note, I know these things are possible. I've recently come into contact with some beautiful people, predominantly online, who have really shown me a thing or two and have given me a bit of a confidence boost. And I don't know, I feel like I'm going to be a lot more outspoken on bullshit in the future. I can't be surrounded by, you know, let's say political incorrectness, but I guess moral incorrectness is another way to say it, because I don't think political correctness is the answer to everything, because it can make everything a lot more difficult just to get on with the basic thing. But I do think that moral correctness, in a way, needs to, you know, I think if something, you know, wrongs someone or myself, I think I'm going to be a lot more outspoken about that stuff in the future, because I'm tired of bottling it up. I've spent so much time bottling my problems with certain things up in the past, and then one day I'll like you know, I do a little explode, and then everyone goes, "Oh," but then I am still valid in my reasoning. It's just I shouldn't bottle it up, otherwise you end up looking bad, you know. But then that's the image versus truth thing. You know, the image is you blowing up about something which seems small, but it's actually because of all these things that have happened, and it's a consecutive thing, you know. But you feel like you can't say anything, you can't say anything, you can't say anything, and then one day you're like, right, I'm saying it, but you come across so aggressive when you do. So it's that kind of thing. So I'm gonna basically say my piece when I need to, and when it makes sense, and when I'm comfortable to, without getting overwhelmingly angry, because I I have done that. I'm happy to admit that. I think people should be able to admit when they have just sort of gone, like, they've just crossed the line or gone over the top, you know? Because some people can't even admit the basic mistake that they did something wrong in the first place. I will admit my mess up. I just wish other people did. It really gets to me. It really gets to me. But either way, I am going to stop rambling now, because otherwise I will yap until the morn. I mean, it's currently the middle of the night. And I hope what I say makes sense, and I hope it's, you know, might make someone else feel less alone in that capacity. That's the big reason why I make these vlogs, is that someone might watch it and be like, you know what, I feel you. I feel you there. Or like, I'm glad someone else has, like, you know, said that. Because there are so many things where I feel like you can't breathe. You know, like, I'm a very left-wing person, I need to say. I'm very left-wing in my ideology. But I meet a lot of people who are like so extreme with it that it's almost like you should die if you don't do this set of things. So it's so far left that it becomes totalitarian. But then you've got the right wing, basically. Like I said, you know, like Berlin 1936, the hometown that I live in. I put on my Instagram story, I really want to go to a Berlin rave. I think I got my request, but it was not the thing that I asked for. It's like the genie. Be careful what you ask for. It seems to be the story of my life. And everything's like as above, so below. It's what you wanted. Everything's the same. Because I do agree with that saying. That's why I wrote a poem and put it out on TikTok. As above, so below is a very real thing. You know, the people that I'm meeting have their own projections, their own perceptions, and the things that have influenced them to think in a certain way. They get like a dopamine boost about a very different thing that would get me a dopamine boost. What would benefit society is not something for me or them to decide. That's for a third party to perceive. But then that's me getting into the minutiae of like social ethics, and I don't really want to do that right now. So I am going to go and stop ranting wildly into the camera, and see how you're all doing another time. But yeah, speak soon.